It's a great opportunity for you guys to ask a couple of pro players who both play for two big counties in Lancashire and Yorkshire, two of the best counties in the whole of England. Some questions really. What's it like playing in a Roses match? I mean, we've got some of these guys on this call who play for our Yorkshire disability team and Amlin's Lancashire disability team. So they've played against each other. So some of these guys will know a little bit what it's like. But what's it like playing in front of the crowd? And is it different? Is it different to play in sort of another county?
Yeah, great question. Obviously, this year was two. We had 3 Roses games. We had a Champo and 2 T20s, which was a bit strange, but because there was no crowding because of COVID. But ultimately, the intensity still stays the same. I've been at Roses matches when doing 12th man, and it is just the atmosphere is absolutely electric. And the history between the Battle of the Roses is absolutely, it's historic, to be honest. And I don't think there's any love lost between the both sides. We play it hard, we play it pretty fair, but ultimately there's a fair bit of respect that goes into it between Lancashire and Yorkshire. But when there's 25,000 people either at Headingley or Old Trafford, the place is rocking and everyone's singing Sweet Caroline at the end. I think everyone's probably seen it on the telly. It's pretty special, and there's no better feeling for me.
Every year you get the fixture list. It's the one that you look out for, and it's definitely the one you want to play in. As Rob was saying, like, the history is mad between our county. I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm from Yorkshire. I was born here, and just when you step into Lancashire, it just feels a bit different. You just got these memories of them just growing up playing against them. They talk a bit like you, but they're a bit meaner. But yeah, my first Roses game was this year that Rob was talking about. I haven't been lucky enough to play in front of a big ground yet, or a big crowd, sorry. But yeah, as Rob was saying, there's not a lot of love lost. We obviously respect them; they're great cricketers. But as you say, it does it's heated. It's rivalry. They want to get the one over us, and we really want to get one over them. But yeah, no, it is up there with the best game that you'll ever play in.
Yeah, awesome, mate. I'm going to take a bit of a question from Layla here in the column, which sort of follows on from what you were just talking about there. In terms of, she's asking how many famous people you play cricket with. In terms of famous people, obviously playing for Lancashire and playing for Yorkshire, 2 big counties, you've got some absolute gun players involved in those squads, and the likes of sort of Joe Root for you, Will. You've obviously played with, and just tell us a bit about that from both of you. What's it like to playing with these, real big stars in the game?
After you, Rob. You go, mate.
Yeah, one of my first games, I played with Joss Butler, and Joss, for me, it was a 4-day game, and I remember opening the batting in one of the games against Middlesex, and we were trying to chase down 240, and it was never going to happen. Last day of the championship, and he just scooped Stephen Finn for his 3rd ball for 1 bounce 4. And ever since, whenever you play with these big stars, you play with Glenn Maxwell's, you play with James Faulkner, and obviously Franey will be the same with the stars at Yorkshire. It just brings an extra edge to you. You want to try and become them, or not become them, but try and do what they do and see how they go about it. Learn from the best, because ultimately they are the best at the game, and you just want to try and get every bit of information out of them, and they're superstars really at the end of the day. And like you say, you want to try and keep up with them.
Yeah, agreeing with Rob. I think what is amazing about them, someone like Rooty, I played a few games with him this year in the T20 Blast, and Johnny was around for a bit, Johnny Bairstow. We're very lucky, like Darwin Milan's about now as well at Yorkshire. I think what's amazing about those guys is it sounds weird, but they are so like us. They're so normal. They're such normal guys. Like Rooty is so down to earth. He makes the game so simple. I remember our second Blast game this year. We were playing at Trent Bridge against Nottinghamshire, and I went out to bat. It was only my second game of the year and probably like my 7th T20 game, so I was a bit nervous. And you walk out and he just fills you with so much confidence. He told me, like, stick your chest out. You deserve to be here.
Another question from Layla here. I know we just touched on it probably a minute ago, but about mental health. She's asked about how does sort of cricket players get affected by mental health. It's something that again, a lot of people have experienced. Maybe a lot of people on this call have experienced as well. And do any of you guys have any tips on how to sort of cope with sort of the mental side of things?
That's a great question again. Yeah, like you said, the pressures that come with it and form, and not scoring, you know, all these things, staying away from home. And like I say, it might sound a bit, oh, you have a great life and stuff like that, but you still got to pay a mortgage. And, you know, if you don't score runs, you're out of a job. So them sort of pressures come with it. And ultimately, sometimes it does affect your mental health. But I think what I've tried to do recently is just take one day at a time. And even if you just realize where you are, you know, you try not worry about the future. And if you catch yourself thinking about the future, worrying about the future, you know, you can just try and bring yourself back to where you are, what you're doing, why you're doing it. And if you're having a bad day or anything like that, I feel like that's what I try and do, is try and just realize where I am, what I'm doing, and try and not look too far ahead, because actually naturally I will worry about my future and what it holds. But that's my tip, is try and stay as present as you can. It's hard to do, but if you can do that, and I feel like you will not as worry as much, as if that makes sense.
Yeah, great advice, mate. Really great advice. Fernie?
Yeah, no, similar to Jones. Obviously, we struggle just like everyone does, as you say. As a batter, especially, you're going to have a lot more dark days than you are good days, just statistically speaking. So I think if you can, I mean, I struggled, especially at the start of my career, with being a bit too emotional, a bit too like up here if I did well, down here if it wasn't going too well, if I got one low score. So I think we talk a lot about with our team Sykes about trying to stay level, which is similar to what Jones said about staying present. It's just about sort of a circle of control, it's called. Like, what can you control? You can control your preparation, your attitude, but you can't control the result of things. You can't control what other people are going to say. You can't control what. So as Jones said, it's something to maybe help with worrying. Is sort of like, right, what can you actually do? Like, how can you make things better? And if you're controlling it and you're giving something your all, then hopefully that will help you not worry as much, just because you're controlling things and you're doing everything right that you can do. And you've just got to trust that things will start going well for you. I've been released a couple of times. I've had a few setbacks. And I think that in life, you are going to get a lot of setbacks. And I think what they do is you learn from them. And as Jonesy said, when you experience failure or you experience a tough time, you do end up learning from it. And I think if you really do enjoy something and you have a passion for something, it is really corny, but there's no telling how far you can go with it. Like, as long as you back yourself and you've got a great sort of system behind you, and that if you love doing something, then, you know, you kind of get lucky. Like, it's almost like if you put in the hours, you get that bit of luck that you need to succeed. And that's all I would say, is that just make sure that if you do go through setbacks, don't let it get you down for too long. Just learn from them. Just understand that this is part of the journey, and it's a massive part of the cricketing journey, setbacks. So you've got to kind of take the rough with the smooth, and they'll end up teaching you to become a better player and a better person along the way.
Yeah, I hope you guys really take a lot from it.
Yeah, appreciate
Our
that.
pleasure.
Cheers, Rob.
Pleasure.
Cheers, Fernie. Guys, we're going to
Have a
stay
good
on the
night.
call
Cheers,
now.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Fernie.
Cheers,
Cheers, Rob.
Jonesy. Have a good
Thank
Christmas,
you very
everyone.
much.
Cheers,
Thank you.
guys.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, guys.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Thanks.
Andy?